Dear students of class 9A and 9B, our last portion, the causes of the downfall of the Mughal Empire. Now I am going to explain. What are the causes of the downfall of the Mughal Empire? There are certain reasons behind it. The first one, Deccan expedition. Deccan expedition. Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb adapted the Deccan expedition. He took that expedition in order to crush the growing influence of the Marathas. The Marathas had become a great challenge before Aurangzeb. The Marathas threw challenge for Aurangzeb. Aurangzeb accepted it. Since Aurangzeb belonged to that very famous dynasty, the Mughal dynasty, the famous rulers like Babur, I don't want to mention the name of Humayun because he was not as great military general like his father Babur, but Akbar, Prince Khurram, Shah Jahan, Jahangir, they all were successful ruler and they all were successful, military general. They led many battles, and under their leadership, they won many battles and extended their empire in various parts of India. But during the first half of his rule, Aurangzeb extended the area of the Mughals because the policies, whatever he adopted during the first part of his reign, did not dissatisfy the Hindus. But in course of time, he adopted some wrong policies, which had become a great cause of discontent among the Indian powers, Indian states like Marathas, Rajput, Bundhelas, Sikhs, Satnamis, and so on. They all united. Although they had no unity, but they individually started chasing crushing the Mughal powers. For example, the Marathas, they started they declared they are fighting against the Mughals separately. The Sikhs also followed the same system. The Rajputs followed the same systems. And by this way, all the powerful races of India, who once upon a time sacrificed their lives for the power, for increasing the power and glory of the Mughals, now they all had become bitter enemies of the Mughals. Bitter enemies. Why? Because of Aurangzeb's wrong policy. Aurangzeb could not understand one thing, that the policy, whatever he adopted for the Hindus, against Hindus, might become a cause of dissatisfaction and might bring disaster, might bring a cause of defeat against the Indian states, Indian regional kingdoms. But ultimately, he realized it. When he realized it, the situation was beyond control. All the regional powers, they stopped paying taxes and revenues. They declared war against Aurangzeb. They challenged the authority of the Mughals under Aurangzeb, especially the Marathas. So, it was a great insult for Aurangzeb. He accepted the challenge of the Marathas under such circumstances where there was no, adequate amount of money and wealth in the royal treasury of the Mughals. Naturally, Aurangzeb had to depend on the revenues of Bengal from the governor Murshid Quli Khan, who was appointed governor of Bengal by himself. So ultimately, Aurangzeb, although he kept on fighting against the Marathas from Deccan, yet he realized that it was not possible to him to check the growing influence of the Marathas, because Marathas, the technique of Maratha guerrilla warfare, the system by which they all were fighting against the Mughals, the leadership, the strategy, the skills, talents of the Maratha soldiers, in every department, the Marathas proved to be efficient than the Mughal rulers. Many Mughal rulers had not paid their salaries. That's why they refused to go for fighting against the Marathas. So Aurangzeb had to wait from the revenues of Bengal, and ultimately, after having received the revenues of Bengal, Aurangzeb had to clear up their pendings, their dues, and then they joined and started fighting. So under such circumstances, Aurangzeb felt it that there was no love and sympathy for the Mughal dynasty among the Mughal Sipahis. The Mughal Sipahis had no sympathy, no love, no passion, no regards for the Mughal rule in India, only because of Aurangzeb's wrong policies and the region and the agitation against Aurangzeb by a number of Indian regional kingdoms. Next point, continuous revolts. In various parts of India, there were continuous revolts organized by a number of Indian rulers. As I told you earlier, they were Marathas, Rajputs, Sikhs, Bundelas, Satnamis, and so on. They kept on organizing revolt against the Mughals, especially during the rule of Aurangzeb. So this act of protest and agitation helped the other people of India. They also, not other people, other rulers of India, they started their agitation separately in order to safeguard their own interests, in order to get back the territories which were occupied by the Mughals during the last half of Aurangzeb's rule. And next point, wrong policies of Aurangzeb. What were the wrong policies of Aurangzeb? Aurangzeb suddenly, during the period he started fighting against the Marathas, Aurangzeb needed huge amount of money. Aurangzeb realized it that imposition of tax, jizya tax on the Hindu pilgrims should be immediately done. Otherwise, he would be unable to spend money against the war of the Marathas, or in the process of suppression the growing influence of the Marathas. That's why ultimately he imposed jizya tax on Indian pilgrims, Hindu pilgrims. So the entire parts of Indian Hindus, they refuse to accept the superiority of Aurangzeb as a Mughal ruler, and then they all started agitation separately. Against whom? Against Aurangzeb. Besides, Aurangzeb belonging to Sunni Muslims started the process of oppression for the Shia Muslims. But that part of work was started by him during the first half of his rule. That time he had no grievance against the Hindus. He did not impose jizya tax on the Hindus. In every field, he was appointing the Rajputs in the administration, in the military department. Everywhere Rajputs had great honor under the rule of Aurangzeb. But ultimately, in the process of suppressing the Marathas, Maratha influence, Aurangzeb had to stay at Deccan by leaving the capital city Agra, and due to long absence, from the capital Agra, and due to long presence at Deccan, created troubles, and so many Indian states of India, they declared themselves independent, and they had the Mughal rulers had Mughal ruler Aurangzeb had no control over there, and by way of doing it, they started collecting revenues in order to pay themselves, not in order to pay the Mughal emperor Aurangzeb, but in order to pay themselves, they started collecting taxes and revenues independently. And next point, weak successors. The weak successors of Aurangzeb, they all remain busy. They all remain busy in, acquiring political powers in India. They wanted to acquire political power by hook or by crook, because the political power of the Mughals during the reign of weak successors of the Mughals had gone. So, by spending money, by winning over the nobles, they decided to capture power. They decided to be the ruler of the Mughal dynasty. But the situation was very critical, because many of the nobles, they were trying to take advantages from there. They wanted to make money at the cost of the weak successors of the Mughals, because the amount of money, whatever their predecessors had left for them, they now realized that it was the right time to them to spend the money for making themselves powerful. That's why they started spending the money of their predecessors by winning over the nobles. They just started making them Mughal emperor. So by this way, the nobles started making money, and the weak successors lost only because of the wrong steps of the weak successors of the Mughal dynasty. The image of the Mughals gone forever, and ultimately there started a war of succession among the weak successors of the Mughal dynasty. And next point, failure of Mansabdari system. The Mansabdari system, which was introduced by Akbar during the reign of Aurangzeb, continuous spread of Mansabdars. A number of Mansabdars demanded many zagirs, because Mansabdars were paid as zagirs, were given zagirs instead of cash salary. That's why they now demanded zagirs, but there was no zagirs. There was no zagir left for the Mansabdars, because the number of Mansabdars had been increasing from time to time, and they were demanding zagirs. So Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb ultimately was forced to hand over the royal lands, that very lands which belonged to Mughal dynasty. Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb was forced to hand over the lands to whom? To the Mansabdars. And now the Mansabdar realized that really the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb himself had become weak, and they started taking undue advantage from there, and ultimately the Mansabdari system also was collapsed due to a misunderstanding between the Mughal emperors and themselves. That's why the Mansabdari system was totally abolished. So, and another point, last point, foreign invasions. Foreign invasions. During the last half of the Mughals under the Mughal rulers, foreign invasions. The two invaders invaded India from time to time. The first one was, the first one was Nadir Shah, and the second was Ahmad Shah Abdali. Nadir Shah invaded India for several times because during his first invasion, he plundered huge quantities of gold coins, ornaments, and huge wealth from Delhi and Agra, and ultimately that incident encouraged them to invade further. So by way of invading India from time to time, they were trying to plunder much more wealth than they had done before. Following the footsteps of Nadir Shah, Ahmad Shah Abdali also started invading India repeatedly. So these repeated invasions by both the two invaders, Nadir Shah and Ahmad Shah Abdali, weakened the financial stability of the country, and the Mughal rulers failed to check their invasions. They were determined to crush. They were determined to plunder Mughal wealth, Mughal ornaments, Mughal golds made of silver, made of gold, and kept on doing it repeatedly. And ultimately they targeted, besides the Mughal areas, they also targeted a number of Indian temples, Hindu temples, because Hindu temples had huge source of income, and there were so many gold coins there, so many ornaments were there. That's why these two invaders started invading Indian Hindu temples, and as a result of it, there was no law and order in the country under the weak successors of the Mughals, and by this way, Mughal emperor was disintegrated. The rule under the weak successors of the Mughals came to an end. Up to this, my dear students, thank you.